Okay, hi again, everyone. As I have already mentioned, I'm Jamie Valdez, the community organizer from Others Out Front. I'm one of the organizers for the Nuclear Free Pueblo Coalition, and I serve as a member of the Environmental Justice Action Task Force housed within the Department of Public Health and Environment. I'm going to talk to you a bit tonight about Pueblo and environmental justice and how our town is impacted by environmental injustices, like many other communities. I was born and raised in Pueblo, and I have multicultural roots in Southern Colorado. I'm also a parent and grandparent with little ones growing up in Pueblo, and I want them to have the best possible future, along with every opportunity to not only live, but thrive. Pueblo's history is one of an economy built on manufacturing, mostly centered around what used to be the Colorado Fuel and Iron Company, CF&I steel mill, and is now Evraz steel mill. In its heyday, CF&I steel mill was the largest steel mill west of the Mississippi. I believe it still is, actually. And it was the largest employer in all of Colorado. For this reason, our Southern Colorado town has often been called the Steel City and Pittsburgh of the West. And while the manufacturing industry, and specifically CF&I and Evraz, has helped to keep Pueblo economically viable, none of it has brought, not CF&I or any of the other major polluters in our community, have brought us what could accurately be described as a strong economy. And these polluters pollute our community on top of that. Can we get the participant? Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Pueblo's median household income is well below the national or state median household income, even though CF&I was at times the largest employer in the entire state. Add to this the fact that Pueblo's rates of asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and cardiovascular disease are above the national or state average, and you start to see why ours is by definition an environmental justice community. Evraz, I've talked a lot about Evraz so far, but it is definitely not the only major polluter in the area. We also have GCC Rio Grande Cement Manufacturing Plant, UTI Aerospace, which AKA BF Goodrich, AKA Collins Aerospace, as well as Excel's Unit Number 3 coal-fired plant, AKA the Comanche plant, polluting our air, water, and land. Along with Steel City and Pittsburgh of the West, Pueblo has been called Pew Town because of all the air pollution, which illustrates the costs of this dependency on polluting industries. Pueblo now has a very visible brown cloud, AKA regional haze, especially when viewed from just south of town. Given the fact that Pueblo is a low-income community that lacks political power, it's no coincidence that polluters like Evraz/CF&I, XL Energy, and other industrial polluters are located here because low-income communities like Pueblo tend to have, again, less political power and a certain desperation for good jobs and a stable economy. These factors make Pueblo a prime target for exploitation as a sacrifice zone. So what is a sacrifice zone? Sacrifice zones are often fence-line communities of low income and people of color, or hotspots of chemical pollution where residents have immediately or live immediately adjacent to heavily polluted industries or military bases. As said by Hop Hopkins of the Sierra Club, you can't have climate change without sacrifice zones, and you can't have sacrifice zones without disposable people. And you can't have disposable people without racism. I would add classism and point out that both have deprived Pueblo of economic opportunity and positive health outcomes. In 2017, Pueblo City Council passed a resolution to strive for 100% renewable energy by 2035. Then in 2018, Pueblo County followed suit, and Pueblo was awarded the Soul Smart Bronze Award for being a solar-friendly community. In 2021, one of our coalition partner organizations, Renewable Energy Owners Coalition of America, or REOCA, surveyed a representative sample of the Pueblo community and found that Puebloans prefer renewable energy sources like wind and solar over fossil fuels or nuclear energy by a 2/3 margin. We agree with the findings and feel that with more than 300 days of sunshine per year and plenty of wind blowing around the surrounding plains and foothills, Pueblo is poised to be a national leader in renewable energy. For generations, Puebloans have shown that we have a vibrant and strong workforce, and it's long past time a higher value is put on our labor as well as our health and environment. With this in mind, we're raising our voices and sharing our stories because Pueblo deserves better. We deserve better than to continue to be used as a sacrifice zone, and we deserve better than to be stuck with nuclear power, which is not the golden goose our county commissioners seem to think it is. Thank you.